Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Voice Acting Coaching, Season 2, if you will. We are back with some lovely new faces. We're going to do some more character work and try out some more dialogue. I'm very excited to get to play around. Y'all know how much I love this shit. I have so much fun working with new people. And we have a beautiful new person to work with us here today for this episode. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then we'll get started. Go right ahead, my friend.
Hello, I'm Edmund. I tend to go by Edmund VA on the internet. I generally go by he, him pronouns, but I couldn't care less if you use any of them. And I have a website, edmundva.com.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. So, Edmund, thank you for being here with us today. I really like the dialogue you've chosen because I never know what people are going to pick. Some people are very high energy, let's be in the middle of battle and do things. And other people are very I want to be the wise mentor and, the calm one in the corner. So it's funny because I get to learn a lot about what you want to work on and the type of character you want to build kind of based on what dialogue you choose. So I'm going to have you perform this first line for me here as the character, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit about who this character is and the scene that you've built, and we'll dig right into it. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and perform it for us.
Okay. Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Excellent! Okay, tell us about this character and the scene and their core personality traits and all that jazz.
So the character's called Christopher. I imagined him as sort of, quite a, posh, confident person. He's quite tall, he has a mustache and a tuxedo, that sort
Amazing.
of thing. I'd imagine he's quite a well-spoken person, he's quite intelligent. So he meets with his wife at a coffee shop and she asks how she looks, yeah.
Got you. And so, in response, this is sort of his comment, right?
Yeah.
Got you. I like this persona you've created, and I like the detail you've given him with, he's not just, tall and elegant. He's got, the mustache, and he's got the posture and the tuxedo. So let's build into this character a little bit. Let's build into the scene that you've created. I gotta ask, why is he wearing a tuxedo at a coffee shop?
I didn't think of that.
That's okay. That's what it's for. Let's figure it out. Why is he wearing a tuxedo at a coffee shop?
Maybe he's coming back from some event where he needed to wear one.
Okay, I love this. What event would he wear a nice fancy tuxedo to?
A business meetup, I suppose.
Okay, now I'm gonna go even further. What does he do for work? What was the business meeting?
He's a pencil salesman.
Ooh, I love that. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so now we gotta get into the nitty gritty here. Is he a pencil salesman this is a scam and he's a sleazeball, or is he pencil salesman no, these are genuinely the finest things you'll ever find on the planet?
Yeah, no, he's he's the Bill Gates of pencils, he sells the best of the best of the best, yeah.
Yes, oh my gosh, and all his clients are high-end people and suitcases. Yeah. Incredible. Okay, so we've established a little more about this guy, right? He's not just confident and tall and all these things. He literally walks the walk. He every day is going out there, tuxedo in hand, selling people high quality material. And during his day, he's going to meet his wife at a coffee shop, and his remark that he says isn't just, well, of course you're pretty, right? It's not well, you're beautiful. It is this long, drawn-out comparison. She's like a violet, and you're saying this directly to her, right? So take a moment when you perform this line again for us and sort of embody a bit of that, you are the high class, high material. You do this every day of your life, And you could be casual with your wife, but you don't even turn it off for her. It is still turned on where you're like, let me give you this big, long speech almost. Okay? So whenever you're ready, try it again with that in mind.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
There you go! I love the way you did marvelous on that one. Because the first time around, right, it's like, okay, you're beautiful, you're glimmering, you look marvelous. The second time around, you had this sort of like drag on the word where you were like, what is the most beautiful and elegant word I could say right now? Ah, yes, it's marvelous. Like you had this pomp to you, and it was amazing. How did that feel on your end? Did that feel any different from the first time you did it?
Yeah, it felt a bit more smooth when I was saying it. Yeah.
Okay, I love that, a bit more smooth. Okay, so let's build out this situation a little more. How often do you meet your wife at a coffee shop?
Every day.
Okay, every day. So not only is this like, this is not a special event, right? This is something you guys do all the time, and yet you're still using this language. What do you think he might have said? Like, how often when you guys sit down, does she ask you, how do I look today? Is she asking this every day? Does she know you're going to compliment her in this way, or is this a surprise?
Well, I suppose it's the sort of thing where after a while she was surprised at how many different remarks he has about her appearance.
Okay. I love that. So let's take that in mind for a second. Every day, we'll assume Monday through Friday, right? You go to a coffee shop, you have lunch with your wife, and maybe it didn't start on purpose, right? Maybe one of the times out of the blue, she's like, hey, do I look okay? And you respond with some elegant, beautiful speech. But now it is a thing where she's like, let's see how long we can keep this going and how much you can discover and think and say. And my guess is, but you could correct me if I'm wrong, that you as the character know that she's kind of doing this on purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
So
like he's pre-planning them, yeah.
Yes, okay. I love that word. He's pre-planning them. So let's take that in mind for a second. I want you to do this line again, but think about the idea that you're preparing, like, what beautiful, elegant, marvelous, fantastical thing you can compare her to today. Give that a shot and perform it again for me.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay! That was very different from the first two. Because the first two, we were still thinking like, okay, he's trying to come up with something, right? So there was a bit of slowness to it that was nice, but we could tell that there was an aspect of what is he gonna say? This one, your confidence that you had written as a core personality trait was there. He knew. Right? You were like, yes, it's my time to shine. I am a great wordsmith. Here's what you are. And it didn't feel less genuine. It just felt more confident. And I think I want to push that a little bit and make this character, like, really, really confident. He has no worries or, nervousness or anxiousness about who he is as a person, right? He knows he is this way. He knows he speaks this way. So let's lean into it a bit. When you run and do the performance this time, be as confident as hell. Like, I want you to give me the most I am large and in charge that you can, okay?
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Yes! Okay! How did that feel for you? Were you able to bring in that confidence?
I believe so.
Amazing! Did it feel any different? Did it enhance the character or change the character being that kind of confident versus the first couple times?
Yeah, I suppose there's more of an aspect of drama to it, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I see what you're saying there. There is a bit of a You're almost putting on a performance as the character. A little bit of a drama there. I like that. That's interesting. Okay, I want to do something where we're going to take this to sort of the extreme. So I want you, I know, this is the fun part. I like the drama. I like the performance idea. I like the confidence. Turn it up to like you are an anime or a cartoon, you know, like protagonist, still genuine. Let's not go sleazeball. Let's not go schmoozy. Let's keep it genuine.
Right.
But turn it up to where like the spotlight is turning to you and you're entering the scene and you're remarking to her, right? Turn it all the way up for me whenever you're ready.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Excellent. Go right into it again. Go even further.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
There it is. Okay. So the first time I could feel you reaching for it, right? I could feel you being like, what the hell does this girl mean? Go more. I have no idea what she's saying. But the second time you went into it so strong because you went from like, okay, beautiful as ever. And then the second time we did that exercise, you went into beautiful as ever. All right. You took command of that word. And that's what I want you to have command over this language because unlike a lot of characters, right? Unlike us in our everyday lives, while he may be thinking of this in the moment as something he's never said before, he's never going to act like it, right? You've defined him as confident. You've defined him as intelligent. You've defined him as well-spoken. So he needs to be as if this is a script that he has memorized for thousands of years, and every woman he meets, including his wife, is always entranced when he says it, right? How did that feel for you, trying to push a little bit more and push a little bit more?
Yeah, it was interesting trying to find the fine line between over the top and just like exaggerated.
Absolutely. You know what? That's an interesting comment, actually. Over-exaggerated versus, like, you know, over the top and where it should be. Can you do a performance of this for me that you think is too much? Like, absolutely way too much and not how this should be performed?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have a go.
Yeah.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
That was so good. Okay, so tell me, what about that feels too much for you? Describe it a little bit to me.
Because there's emphasis on like every single word.
Oh, okay. You make a good point. So too much emphasis makes it feel a bit too like overperformed.
Yeah.
I see. So let's do the opposite for a second. Can you do a performance where you take all of the emphasis away? Like you barely care about what you're saying, just throw it away in a trash bin.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Close. Care even less. You do not care about what you're saying.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Yes, there we go. Does that feel weird compared to the other ones that you were doing?
Yeah.
In what way does it feel kind of changed or different?
But it seems almost sarcastic.
Ooh, that's interesting. I guess it does feel a little sarcastic, huh? Because the language that you're using is so heightened that it feels weird not to put any emphasis on it whatsoever. So let's try that for a second. Let's do a version of this character that is sarcastic. Let's do a version that is making fun of almost whoever he's speaking to. Like you don't care about this girl. She could be ugly as hell. You're just saying whatever. Try that version for me.
Okay, beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet, glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
I love that ending. Oh my god. When you said like a violet glimmering in the moonlight, like, and you couldn't stop rolling your eyes. It was so funny. You were like, yeah, you're like a violet. Yep, you're so pretty. You did really well. What does that do in changing the character for you? Because you'd originally built him like confident, intelligent. How does it feel to be the opposite side of that?
It's sort of like confidence to a degree of like cockiness,
Ooh.
rather than just like confident in what he's doing.
Interesting. Confident to a degree of cockiness. I kind of like that. I think that's another part of the fun part about working with dialogue and building a character is that you get to change the character and see what different types of characters or archetypes of characters would say this line as. So we've played with sort of your original version, which is like confident and well-spoken and genuine. We've played with a bit more of the dramatic and the over-the-top. We've now done a bit of a sarcastic version. I want you to lean really heavily into this like cocky, still not necessarily genuine, but maybe a little less sarcastic, where almost let's go the sleazeball route for a second. Let's go you're trying to be like, yes, of course you're gorgeous, right? That kind of energy. Give that a shot and see how that goes.
Oh, actually, that's the thing.
It's tough, isn't it? What's going through your mind right now?
I'm trying to work out what tonality I should bring into it. I suppose.
Ooh, interesting.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet, glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay. How did that one feel?
It didn't seem quite right to me, I don't know.
Why do you think it didn't seem right?
It was sort of more jumpy, I suppose.
Can you explain or describe a little bit what you mean by jumpy?
Yeah, the flow of the sentence didn't really like work together when I was saying it like that.
Okay.
It was sort of, like, jumping from section to section.
Okay, that's a great thing to analyze, right? Trying to listen back to ourselves and be like, why did this performance work? Why did it not? What do we need to change here? I hear that. I understand what you're saying now when you say jumpy, where it's like, it kind of feels like it's a little broken up in weird places, right? When we're trying to do it as like the cocky guy. So let's play with a bit of this pacing then. Let's play with a bit of this, like where the pauses are. I want to do something where I want you to ignore all of the punctuation in here. So I want you to say every sentence from like, beautiful as ever, my dear. That is one sentence, no pausing at the comma. So ignore those commas and then say each one together. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Oh, I've forgotten what this is.
That's okay. So you can put on, we're still going to try and be this sort of like cocky, sort of like sleazy seducer type of energy, but you're not going to pause at commas. So you were doing decently well for that first one. But don't take a pause and don't take a breath after as ever, and make sure that the second sentence is one full sentence as well. Okay?
Okay.
All right, give it a shot.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Close. I want you to try this second sentence again. Don't take a breath. You got it. Go all the way through. Try the whole thing.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay, one more time. Go fast with it. See if you can go super fast through the whole sentence, like you shouldn't speak that fast. Go for it.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
There you go. That was much smoother. So what I'm trying to do here is that comma between violet and glimmering is giving you a hang up. Because every time you get there, you want to take that pause, right? And it makes sense because that's a simile. That is not a full sentence. That is not a complete sentence, right? The like a violet glimmering in the moonlight, there's no subject. There's no nothing. So your brain wants to go, okay, I need to pause because I need to emphasize these words and put explanation on what I'm saying. And I want to break you from that a little bit. So Do it again for me. Way too fast. Try to get rid of that pause there. Just go for it. Whole thing.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay, that was smoother. That was much smoother. I want to try something, and you're going to think I'm crazy, so be prepared. I want you to go backwards. Now, you don't have to read the words backwards. Like, you don't have to go like, Ulvifitu, like, you don't have to do that.
Like, do the words, but this, like, in the opposite order.
Yes, in the opposite order. So go from the back of the line. Keep that no, like, pausing on the commas, but try to go from the back of the line.
Marvelous. Moonlight the in glimmering violet alike, ever as beautiful.
Nice.
Am I misunderstanding what you're saying?
No, you got it. You got it. I wanted it to be weird. Do it again.
Okay. Marvelous. Moonlight the in glimmering violet alike, ever as beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. Okay, I'm having you do this because, again, I'm trying to punch your brain out of the way that it wants to say these words. That's the hardest part about voice acting, about reading out loud, about anything, is once you have done it or read it in your head or read it aloud in a specific pacing and way, your brain does not want to change it. It is like, no, absolutely not. Why would you ever change the way we're speaking this? Then it sounds stupid. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of your brain having this exact pacing so that when we change characters, or if you're in a session and a director is like, hey, can you do that a little differently, right? You can do it like off the spot without needing to be like, brain.
Yeah.
So go backwards for me again, but this time I want you to combine it with the over the top, the way too dramatic performance version, okay? Whenever you're ready.
Marvelous. Moonlight in the glimmering violet alike. But, oh dear my, ever as beautiful.
One more time, go for it. Same energy.
Marvelous. Moonlight in the glimmering violet alike. Dear my, ever as beautiful.
There you go. Now,
Well, I meant to do it without the commas.
Yeah, kind of, but like, it's hard when you're going backwards. So, I give you the grace and the benefit of the doubt. But I want you to perform it just from the beginning. Don't think about anything or any type of character. Just perform it for me, straightforward.
Marvelous. Moonlight in the glimmering violet alike. Dear my, ever as beautiful.
Now go from the front. Just perform it.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay, you see how we're at this like neutral spot now? Where it kind of feels like we're not over, we're not under, we're just kind of here, right? Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this neutral section and I want to sort of mold it so that we bring in that weird, dramatic confidence. And we bring in almost that cockiness, but maybe keep it a little genuine, because I think, and you can change it, you can correct me if you want to, but I think the genuine version sounds really good for this. I want to bring in those aspects, the confidence and the dramatic, but only in certain areas, so that they are almost like sprinkles on top of your neutral. And that might give us a version that is like smooth and gentle and still feels in control. So in order to do something like that, I want you to pick a few specific words in this line of dialogue here that you think are the most important. Like, these are the words that should be emphasized. What would you pick?
Probably beautiful, glimmering, and marvelous.
Okay, so here's what I want to try. Bring out the dramatic, over-the-top, really confident person on those words and those words only. And make it like, don't try and go subtle with it. Go big, even if it feels like way too much. Yeah. And then the rest of the words are just, I'm neutral, I'm saying the sentence. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Beautiful as ever, my dear, like a violet glimmering. Oh, I
Yeah, you got it. No worries. Try again.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Great. One more time. Make it even more drastic of a shift. Those 3 words are so high, so important. Every other word is, it's fine. Nothing matters. It's neutral. It's whatever. Okay? Go again.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
There you go. Now do the opposite. Those 3 words are the least important. And the unhighlighted is your crazy over the top. It's gonna feel weird, but try it.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
One more time. Hit that in the moonlight as high as the other stuff that isn't highlighted, okay?
Okay.
All right, try again.
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Great. Don't think, just perform it.
I don't know how to not think.
Okay, this is something we can work on. Let's do this now. All right, so tell me what happens. What do you think about before you perform anytime I ask you to perform? What's running through your brain?
We're trying to work out how loud I'm doing it, and also trying to make sure that I'm still reading the words, because I forget to do that and end up not doing it.
Okay, let's close your eyes for a second. What do you think the line is?
Beautiful as ever, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
You know the line. Even if it takes you a second, you know what those words are. And it's okay to take a second. It's okay if you have to think about, what's the next line, right? I would rather have you thinking about it than reading it. Because what's gonna happen is when you read, your brain goes back into, I am reading the sentence now. I understand the sentence, right? And it's gonna come out in your voice, which we don't want. So I wanna try a few of these with your eyes closed, with you not looking at this line. And it's okay if you have to pause and think about what the line is. That's fine. Just wait to say the line until you're ready to perform it. Okay, so try it. Don't think about emphasis or anything like that. Just keep your eyes closed and perform the line for me.
Okay. Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Okay, now make that soft and gentle, like you are very barely touching her hand or her cheek.
Beautiful, my dear. I've forgotten it.
That's okay. Take a deep breath.
Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Excellent. Now whisper it.
Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Now extend that marvelous. Make it the longest word.
Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Beautiful. Now do the same thing, but make this as if you are a fantasy narrator and you are telling someone this legend, this lore of this gorgeous woman who is beautiful and glimmering and marvelous. Go ahead.
Beautiful, my dear. Oh wait, is it meant to be? I don't really know what that's really meant to sound like.
That's okay. There is no what it's meant to sound like. Give me your version of what I'm describing to you. If I told you to be a fantasy narrator that is saying this woman was gorgeous, someone's asking you, but sir, what did she look like that every man was willing to go save her from a tower? What do you see and say this to them?
Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
There you go. Now drag it when you say it.
Should it be like a marvelous Or is it more like marvelous?
Ooh, whichever one you feel.
Okay. Beautiful, my dear. Like a violet glimmering in the moonlight. Marvelous.
Ooh, yes. Okay, you can open your eyes for me. Tell me how these ones felt a little bit. What was it like to kind of take away your ability to read what the text was and play a little bit in that space?
It made it a lot more contextual in my brain, I guess.
I love that. Describe that a little bit. What was the context that was happening? How did that help or dishelp? This help's not a word, but how did that help or not help?
It just changed the approach, I guess.
Okay, so that's kind of something that I wanted to try, right? Because when we are doing this, and we spoke a little bit before about how like reading it can get us stuck in a place to where we start sounding like we're reading instead of performing. When you had your eyes closed and you were able to get rid of the nervousness of like, you know, there was a few bits at the beginning where you're like, oh, I forgot the line, right? But like once that was gone, you were able to genuinely sit in a place where I was like, I'm going to describe the scene for you, now live in it, right? And I could see that you had this moment of like, oh, okay. Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm saying the whispered versions were gorgeous because we had taken away the reading aspect, the thinking aspect, the need to perform and be loud and be dramatic, and your whispered ones were able to come across as like you were telling a story. And I think that's a good transition into the narration versions, but I also think it's just a beautiful representation of like sometimes you gotta block everything out and you gotta live and breathe in that space, right? Is there anything else you want to try with being this character or, you know, this line of dialogue? Anything you want to work on or try?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, no worries. If you want to come back to it at any point and you do think of something, let me know. We can always switch back to like a first-person description. Okay, now for so folks at home that are watching and listening, we're going to do something a little different here because Edmund wants to work a bit on narration. So I wrote a few sentences that are like the narrated version of what would be the character dialogue. So in order to actually get away from, we'll play with it first. We'll play with it first, and then we'll go to your second one, I think. But let's play with the narrated version of this for a second. I'll still use the term perform, but can you perform the narrated version?
Okay. Like now? Yep.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. He gently touched her cheek. Her eyes were like violets glimmering in the moonlight. She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Excellent. So I want to ask you a question here. What do you think, or what is your approach that is different from when you are the character and saying lines as the character versus narrating like this? What changes for you?
I suppose I read it a bit more calmly, as if it's like a bedtime story sort of thing, I guess.
Okay. And that was kind of the energy we were picking up when I had you whisper, was a bit of this like bedtime narrative. So that might be a good route to go with it. Let's run full force into that. This is a bedtime story that you are reading, maybe to your kids, maybe to whoever, and you're, at the part when it's like the princess and the knight that saves her meet up, and this is what happens, right? So narrate it for them, read them the story, tell them the bedtime tale. Take a second to breathe and put yourself in that moment where you can see, you can visualize, you recognize that you're talking and telling a story to these kids, and then say the line.
He gently touched her cheek. Her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight. She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Nice. This one was very calm, very gentle, but it was also clear. So we could understand, like, we were following along as you said these words, and we understood the picture that you were painting, because this couple of lines in particular are very descriptive, right? You're describing violets and glimmering and moonlight, and those are just her eyes. And then, he's touching her cheek, and she's beautiful. So you're painting a picture that we as the listeners want to be there with you. And I liked how calm and gentle that version was. I want to try something here. I want to try an exercise where I'm going to play opposite you. I'm going to be the kid or one of the kids that you're telling this story to. But instead of you just saying these lines, I'm going to ask you a question that prompts you to answer with each one of these sentences. So I might be like, well, what did he do next, right? And then you'll read the first sentence. And then I might be like, well, what did she look like? And then you'll read the second sentence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll prompt you in here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. But sir, what did they do when they met each other?
He gently touched her cheek.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool! What did she look like?
Her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen a violet before! Are they pretty?
She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Oh, that's so cute! One more time, we're gonna run this again. I'm gonna give you possibly questions that don't fit what you're about to answer with, but you're still gonna answer, okay? With the same sentence.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna prompt you in. Ugh, I don't care about this story. Knights and princesses are so dumb. Like, what did he even do?
He gently touched her cheek.
Okay, but she was probably like an ogre or something, like in Shrek.
Her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight.
Oh, please. Violets don't even glimmer. I bet she was ugly.
She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Okay, what did that do to your responses? How did that change the way you were saying these to these kids?
Theatrical, I suppose, but it's more like more straight to the point. Yeah.
More straight to the point. Okay, and when you have this kid, like one that is listening to you and intrigued by the story you're telling and wants to hear more, and one that is like, I don't believe you, this story's dumb and it's stupid, what do you think your reaction would be as a storyteller to this type of engagement? Like one who's here for it and one who's against it?
Well, if they're against it, I'd probably try and find a different story that's more to their speed, I guess.
Okay, what do you think would be to their speed? If you had to guess what kind of story they would like.
Something probably more action-packed, maybe.
Okay, let's try something for a second. Forget this narration and these exact line of dialogues. When I prompt you in and I go, this story's dumb and stupid, start telling me a story that you think I would like as this kid with the action-packed. Make up the words, make up the story. You can still do it in sentences, so you'll make up a sentence and then I'll respond to your sentence.
Okay.
But don't worry about saying what's on the page, okay?
Right.
All right, I'm going to prompt you in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This story's stupid. I want something with more action.
You mean like a story about aliens and robots?
Well, maybe. I bet it's not fun, though.
What's not fun about robots who shoot water pistols?
Robots who shoot water pistols? Well, what do the aliens do?
Well, there's one little thing that people don't really know about aliens. Aliens are weak to water.
No, they're not. Really?
Yes.
That was adorable. You did such a great job improvising and creating this story that was like so different and like getting the kids' attention of like, excuse me, what? Aliens and water pistols? What came to your brain when you were trying to create that story? What made you go there? What were you thinking?
About robots who shoot water pistols?
Fair enough, right? Was this just something you pulled from the atmosphere?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so what felt differently though? Was it different to have this kid suddenly engaging with you? How did it feel to be able to give him a story he wanted to hear?
Seems like a more effective way of keeping someone entertained, I suppose.
Okay, I like that. More effective way of keeping them entertained. So let's try that, but with the original narration. I'm still gonna be this kid who isn't engaged, doesn't want to listen to this story. But now you have to keep these words. You're not allowed to change the story, right? You still gotta tell him that he gently touched her cheek, her eyes were like violets. But I want you to do it in a way where you are going to get this kid engaged. Make it exciting for him. Whether you have to put on a silly voice, whether you have to be like, oh, well, he definitely did that, right? Whatever you have to do to get this kid engaged while using those words, do it. Okay? All right, I'm gonna prompt you in. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. I don't want to hear this story. It's boring.
Well, he gently touched her cheek.
Yeah, but that's kind of stupid.
Well, her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight.
I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, but, like, I don't care.
Well, she looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Okay, one more time. Get me invested even more. Go more strongly. You need me to like this story. You ready? Your brain's trying to think of how. Don't think of how. Just do it. Okay? I know that sounds
the thing is, I'm
stupid.
trying to work out what I'm gonna do though.
That's okay. Do whatever feels right in the moment, right? This is the thing, is when you are acting, when we are doing this thing, if we prep too much, it's not gonna work. Whatever feels right to you, as you're sitting there and I give you something, if it feels right to you to be loud, be loud. If it feels right to you to be funny, be funny. Don't try and predict what to do, okay? All right, I'm gonna throw this at you. Here we go. This story is boring and dumb and stupid and I don't wanna hear it.
He gently touched her cheeks.
Okay, but like anybody can do that.
Her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight.
I mean, violets are cool, but like they're also ugly.
She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
There you go. Okay, did it feel weird or strange to have to not prep and throw yourself into that? What did that feel like?
Sort of going into an exam that you haven't really prepared for. Haven't studied for.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Explain to me this a bit. Because we all have this tendency to prep, right? And in order to break that, it takes a lot of like throwing yourself out there. I think something that really worked for you in the concept of throwing yourself out there was the improvisation. When I asked you to tell me a different story, I think there was less, and I might be wrong, but I think there was less you could do to prep, and it was a little bit easier to break you out of this mold and this shell a bit. So I want to go back to that improv where you're not using these words or this text. And this time, I'm going to play another kid, but instead of answering you and then having you say a line after it, I am actively going to be like, I don't care, whatever, like, you're not interesting me. And I want you to keep telling me a story until you have got my attention. And once you've got it, don't lose it. Do not lose my engagement. And I'll cut us off when I think we're done. But just keep going. Do what you can to get this kid's attention, okay? All right. I'm going to start, and then you can talk as much as you need to try and get my attention. Here we go. Whatever. I don't even care.
Well, do you not care about the one most interesting thing on Earth?
No!
Global warming.
Ew, global warming's so stupid.
Well, global warming is actually the secret way the Earth turns into a giant robot.
There is no way the Earth turns into a giant robot.
How do you know? Have you seen inside? Have you seen below the surface?
Well, I guess not, but like that doesn't make any sense. We don't live in like a fantasy world.
Well, maybe not a fantasy world, but certainly one where aliens grow life forms for study.
No, they don't. For real?
Well, I don't know. Do you?
I guess not, but if you're telling a story about it, where'd you hear this story?
I heard this tale from a bearded old man who was as wide as a tree, like a big redwood tree.
Oh my god. What? No, I don't believe that. Nope.
Well, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Doesn't change the truth.
But I don't think it's true.
Fair enough.
You were so close. You had me. You gotta pull me back. You can do it. Pull me back. Come on. I don't think this is true or real.
Well, he also gave me a dragon egg. And as far as I'm aware, that's not a particularly common thing to have.
Well, it's probably just an ostrich egg.
Well, I mean, after it hatched and it was breathing fire, I suddenly thought it was a dragon.
What? Breathing fire?
Yeah, well, that's what it gets for eating nothing but curry.
There we go. Yes, excellent. Okay, what does it feel like when I'm asking you to improvise and pull me and get my attention, and you can't necessarily like do the sort of prep or thinking about how to say the words because you don't even know what the words are? Tell me about how that feels.
Uncontrollable?
Yeah, that's a fair term for it. It's definitely uncontrollable. Does it feel different from when you have a pre-written script?
Yeah, because with a pre-written script, you're trying to make the script work, but otherwise you're just trying to you're working from nothing.
Exactly, right? And sometimes when the words that we have to say are not our own, like a pre-written script, sometimes we can get hung up on the concept of like, what is it supposed to sound like? What is it supposed to be? How are they supposed to be saying this? And I think if we can break down the walls and the concept of what it should be, what it's supposed to be, then we can bring in this freedom of like, you can be any kind of character you want. The improvisation that you were doing there was so beautiful because it's not about what you say. It doesn't matter if you talk about aliens or dragons or the middle of the earth or climate change. You could have used any topic you wanted. What was engaging was your commitment to getting me involved. Because no matter what you said, you were like, well, okay, but I don't know, right? You left me with this little like trail that I needed to be like, well, wait. And you were enticing and engaging and needing me to follow. And it allowed your voice and your emotion to really come through. You were invested. And so I want to put that feeling of that like investment of this really like matters to you, that passion that we just had in that improvisation. And I want you to you can do the character line or you can do the narrated line, but bring that passion, that excitement, that pulling somebody into this story. They need to hear it. And try one of these lines again. And this is going to be your last performance of this line for our session tonight. So give it all you've got. Give me your best one.
Okay. He gently touched her cheek. Her eyes were like violets, glimmering in the moonlight. She looked as beautiful as the day he met her.
Wonderful. I could feel that enticingness of like, listen to the story I needed to tell. How did that final performance feel for you?
Good.
Yay! Good is what we strive for. Well, I hope you've had a good time tonight. We're very close to our hour, so it is going to be the end of our episode for today. Will you please tell the people remind them of who you are, and if there's anywhere they can find you, like your website, etc. Go ahead and let the people know.
Yeah, I'm Edmund. Go by Edmund VA. I have a website which is edmundva.com, so I have like all my samples and like email and stuff on there. But I'm also on Casting Cool Club. Yeah.
Hell yeah! That's all. Goodbye!